All right, Mama G here. It is March. Oh, March 4th. Can't even believe it. 2019. Samantha B will be up with us momentarily. You guys, keep it simple, sweetheart, stupid, Sam. No, not Sam. Keep it simple, people. You guys are making things so complicated. Nothing complicated about it. Just got to take a deep breath, let Mom G, Samantha B hold your hand, and let's see what Samantha's going to say to us today. Get to her. All right, here we go.
This is Samantha B, and welcome to Fitness and Nutrition 101. I wonder if Gina said the date because I don't see it. There we go, March 4th. Welcome to March, everybody. We do have a couple new experimenters. Welcome, guys. If you haven't heard from me, that means I haven't heard from you. That means one person I heard from, one person I didn't. So if you haven't heard from me, that means I haven't heard from you. So please reach out first via What's Up app, and we can get you your fitness macros sent right over. So I just want to tie up some loose ends. I did have a question about LifeWOD. I'd love to have more questions about LifeWOD. The question was about, I think it was about LIST. I think it was about low intensity steady state cardiovascular exercise. Number one, if you have a question, please ask me. Don't go through other people to ask. You will get your information as soon as possible. So I don't want you to feel like you are bad or didn't listen or whatever. You're participating in LifeWOD. I'm super excited. I will put up extra videos and extra answers and all kinds of extra stuff as soon as I know the questions that I need answered. And I can't do that unless you ask them. So please, ladies and gentlemen, on the actual Instagram account under comments, write list ? What's that? And I will answer what that is. So for those of you guys that don't know, LIST is low intensity steady state cardiovascular exercise. I would like you to stay in that steady state within zones 2 and 3. That is why we utilize heart rate training here with Mama G's Lifestyle. We did it in the experiment. We do it in the lifestyle. We use it for LifeWOD. So LIST, low intensity steady state cardiovascular exercise, falls within zones 2 and 3. Moderate cardiovascular exercise falls in zones 3 and 4, and then high intensity 4 and 5. Now, if you are asked to do 15 minutes of moderate intensity, that means if it takes you 5 minutes to enter zone 3, that means those 5 minutes do not count for your 15 allotted minutes in this cardiovascular exercise program. Okay, so if it says 15 minutes in moderate, do not count the front end of it. Make sure you know the number that you need to get to in order to find your moderate. So questions about that, please don't hesitate to ask if I have answers for you. Now, my overall topic for this evening is, are you a patient or are you a athlete? And that's the mentality behind that. But before I get going on my actual topic, I want to talk to you a little bit about injuries. So easily you could interchange shoulder pathology, abdominal pathology, quadriceps pathology, back pathology. So that's where I'm going to kind of stick with is the back pain because it's a generalized thing. And me and my husband are having a great conversation about it. So number one, when it comes to an injury, there's always going to be a physical component to it. So that's the actual tissue damage. How often is resistance or load or exposure to that actual injury site being brought on. So let's just use my husband as a nurse as an example. So every time he bends over to move a patient, every time he sits down for a long case, every time he exposes his lower back for his job, those are opportunities for him to understand or notice his tissue damage, okay? But it's not just the tissue damage that's involved in an injury. There's so many other components, including the psychological component. So let's say that you bent over to help position a patient on a table. So for those of you guys that don't have patients at home or you don't use tables to move people, let's assume that you're picking up a kid or your dog or a cat, and you pick them up and you feel your lower back in a negative way. You are now more conditioned psychologically to assume that that would happen again if you were therefore to pick up your dog, your cat, your kid, or move a patient on a bed in the same way, assuming that you potentially will have the same outcome, which is not always true. Now, there's other things that are affected. Now, your social capabilities in this really include stresses from the environment. So are you under a lot of stress? Is your job crazy? Is your husband crazy? Is your wife crazy? Are your kids driving you crazy? You also have lifestyle components, okay? So are you sleeping? Are your injuries not allowing you to sleep? Are you going out partying? Are you pushing yourself to the max with multiple tasks and multiple activities? Are you not doing enough activity? Are you sitting down watching lots of TV? And last but not least, there are the non-conditional things that happen: your age, your gender, and then predispositions and your genetics, okay? So just because you have this injury doesn't mean that the injury is going to occur for any other reasons besides that you think it's going to occur, that your environment is too stressful, that you are unable to improve your lifestyle, and maybe even your age and your genetic history is a factor. That is not the end of all, okay? Which brings me all the way to my real topic, which is, are you an athlete or are you a patient? Now, let's just continue using this back pain as your predominant injury just for focus, okay? So I got this injury and I decided I'm gonna become better for the rest. I'm gonna use Mama G's lifestyle. I'm gonna join the experiment for 3 months, and then at the end of that, I'm hoping that I'm going to be healthy. But in the back of my mind, I had back pain. And this back pain has arisen through my entire life with all kinds of activities. Every time that I bend over, every time I pick up my dog, every time that I vacuum my floor. So I no longer pick up my dog, I no longer vacuum my floor, and I no longer, did I say just bend over? Anyway, I no longer do the things that I think are going to target those issues, okay? Is that the wrong thing to do? Well, it depends. Do you want to be able to do those things? Do you want to be able to vacuum? Maybe, maybe not. Do you want to be able to pick up your dog? Maybe, maybe not. Do you want to be able to live a life that you're able to do things without having to think about it? And I think that's the definition of becoming better for the rest. Nobody wants you to be able to do things that are out of the norm. Say, I don't know, something specific like throw a javelin, or what's else, something that's kind of interesting. I don't know, run an Ironman. No one needs you to be able to do things outside of the norm, but understanding that being able to complete daily tasks without the support of somebody else allows you to be independent. And being independent allows you to live a healthy lifestyle without worrying about somebody else to get yourself to the finish line. And the finish line being, the glory stages of life, where you're actually able to enjoy more of your life because you have more opportunity to do the things that you like to do. You set yourself into this position where life is great and grand and you're actually able to enjoy it, unless your body doesn't work for you. So that brings me to this. Are you a patient or are you an athlete? And you can say that you're an athlete all day, all night, but if you are aware of the things that are scaring you, or they have provided you with some type of negative connotation on movement patterns or exercises that you think are going to destroy you. So let's rewind a little bit. We've got back pain and we can feel it. We can feel it doing activities of daily living. Great. What should you do? Stop living. No. You need to start doing some discovery work. You need to start seeing and actually feeling what your body is and is not capable of doing without pushing that pain scale above a 6. Okay, so we like to use that pain scale to a 10 because I don't want anybody pushing any joint pain anywhere above a 6. I really don't want you working through joint pain at all. But muscle fatigue and discomfort really comes with pushing your body. And understanding the difference between pain, discomfort, and where and what is causing that to happen. Now, my lower back could be strained through the musculature, or my actual joints through my spine could have injury. Those are 2 different types of pain. Some of it could be referred pain, so we can't always be 100% sure. But we should have a pretty good idea of how to separate those type of things. And if you don't, then you need to do yourself a favor and get on top of it. Now, we've said to you in the past that you need to kind of have this team. And that team is there to help you understand the difference between your injury on a physical response, a physiological response, a social response, and a lifestyle response. And then what's just going to come along with your age, your gender, and your genetic dispositions. Okay? So when you don't have anybody to help you do those things, what should you do? Here's my number one recommendation. Start videoing some movements, some basic movement patterns. Now, a lot of times people use the squat as something that's very dynamic, it's intense. Let me tell you what, your squat is one of the most functional patterns that you're ever going to use because you sit on a toilet to go to the bathroom, sit on a chair to relax, and you stand up from both of those things regularly throughout the day. I would say more than 10 times you sit and stand, no matter if you work a desk job and or whatever else type of job or lifestyle that you have. You're always going to sit and stand from your car, you're going to sit and stand from the toilet, you're going to sit and stand from a chair, you're going to sit and stand from your couch. So right there, there's 4 opportunities that you probably do every single day, probably more than once, which gives you upwards of 12 squats a day, no matter what. So if you're scared of doing squats, you should be scared of sitting on the toilet, sitting on the couch, sitting in your car, out of your car, and what was my other thing? There's another one, I can't remember. So I want you guys to start discovering movement patterns that are very functional for you. So that's where the LifeWatt is very functional, uses very basic movement components, but also in your fitness macros. So when we did your Superman starting out, when we did your planks, are you feeling your referred pain physiologically? Are you feeling the tissues? Okay? And if you are, communicate. I feel my back pain. I feel my knee pain. I feel my shoulder pain when I'm doing a plank. I feel my back pain, my neck pain, my knee pain when I'm doing I don't know what it is, shoulder circle. There are some exercises that you don't even need to do. They're just mobility movements. They're just functional patterns that are used for most people. But guess what? Not everybody needs to fit the same exact plan. We can really mold it towards you depending on how and what you can communicate that your body feels like. But be aware that just because you feel like you will reproduce the symptom and you choose not to do an exercise because you're afraid is not the right attitude. Now, let me put a little caveat on that. Do I think you should do loaded movements in planes of action that you have felt pain, not discomfort, in before? And that answer is no. I do not think that you should start doing resisted exercises through planes of movement that you have felt pain that you have or injury before. Okay, start, even it can be as simple as a shoulder press. Your shoulders have bothered you before. Do I think that you should grab a set of 25-pound dumbbells on each side and push all the way up and come back down? No, but I do want you to try grabbing a invisible pair of 25-pound dumbbells. I don't want you to think of them as nothing. That's really not how this works. I want you to think of using the muscles as you would use them if they were loaded. And then I would like you to send a video to me or keep on your phone to show your doctor, whether it's your physical therapist, your orthopedic, or your, I don't know, maybe chiropractor or somebody, whoever is in your loop. In your loop should be somebody that's a professional in muscular, skeletal injuries or anatomy, okay? That's not to say that you can't use a personal trainer if you have one. That's not to say that you can't send them to me because you have me if you're listening to this call. But going through a range of motion like so, or a range of motion, you can't see me very good, but that's a squat. Like so, and sending me a video from a profile view or or a frontal view so I can get an idea of how you're moving and what's going on. I could probably give you some really good tips for you moving through that pattern. Now, after you moving through that pattern, if you are in more pain than you were before, then that's probably something that we need to address, probably needs to be addressed sooner than later so that you can start moving that joint in a healthier manner. But if you assumed that you were going to start feeling pain, but you actually didn't, then that's some room to grow and to start investigating. Now, remember that it's not all psychological, right? So you would be having lots of back pain from all kinds of lifestyle. Stress brings a lot of unwanted, unnecessary, unwanted, no good outcomes because you're having a physical response to your physiological stress that's happening on an external environment. All of these things in your life are created, and that's why I wanted to touch back on the fact that my exercise is going to be different than your exercise. Some people are going to be able to train for 5 days a week. Some people are going to be able to train 3 to 4 times a week. It's not bad. It's about understanding how much stress your body can handle by seeing progress. So let's get a little bit more in depth with talking about the athlete and the patient, okay? If everybody in your world, so you have your team, right? Your team is a bunch of doctors and so on and so forth. They've been doing discovery with you, treating the area that's injured. So it's the back, not your legs, not your shoulders, not your elbows. It's your low back, let's just say. So you've been on this road to trying to get this figured out for however long that you've been trying to get it figured out, and you've never found anything that's really helped except for removing inactivity. But then again, you're unable to actually do things that you want to do. So no one's winning with this lifestyle choice. You're not winning. You're not able to do the things that you want to do, and your doctors aren't winning because you're not feeling any better. And more than likely, I hope you've chosen doctors that actually want to see you progress. Now, here's the difference and where I want you to try to start bringing your mentality. You can be a patient for as long as you want to be a patient, but if you want to choose to be an athlete, you could be one today. You could be an athlete today, focusing on what does work on your body. So let's use that general back pain, okay, as your injury. And that's what causes you to become a patient. That you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, let me tell you what an athlete would say. This is what they would ask. They went into a doctor's appointment and they, as patients, because they have an injury, a physical injury, and they're like, you know what, Sam, you have a blah, blah, blah wrong with your back. And guess what the next response would be from me? But what can I do? It would have nothing to do with the things that you cannot. So they say, all right, Sam, you can't do jerks over 80%. You can't run. You can't do any high impact. You can't do any, what's the word, open chain cardiovascular exercise. Okay. And I'm making my list of the things that I can't do. And then I go home and I make a list of the things that I can do that's going to get me towards my goal. And if my goal is to only improve my injury, then I need to realistically measure my injury in a way that I'm not going to hurt myself, but I can see improvement. So if my back pain is referred down my leg, or if it's just generalized in one specific area, that's going to be one thing that I'm going to keep an eye on. So if I notice that my back pain is just localized in one little area, and if it starts referring out to other areas, I know that the problem is getting worse and I need to change what I'm doing. But let's say that it's in a reference area, but now it's not. Maybe now I'm not feeling it all the time. I know that it's improving. So there, in a way, I'm measuring some progress. If I'm doing these specific exercises that maybe I'm doing core, maybe I'm doing some upper body work, maybe I'm doing a range of different exercises, but I'm seeing progress in my injury because that's my overall goal right now, then I'm doing something right, okay? Is it much easier to do with a professional that understands the body and things that could correspond with other injuries? Absolutely. But let me give you the little secret. Shh, don't tell anyone that there is no one exercise that's going to remove low back pain. There is no one exercise that's going to remove shoulder pain. There's no one exercise that's going to remove knee pain. It's going to be a component of your physical, your physiological, your social, and your lifestyle. No matter what anyone tells you, it's bigger than that. Injuries can become overpowering. They can be big. But unless you address all the way around the area, strengthen everything that does work, then will you be able to understand if that injury can go away or not. And you'll never be able to show any progression unless you have a way to measure it, okay? So I hear regularly, I want to lose weight. I hear this from Mama G's lifestyle. I do not hear this all the time from my current clientele, although some people do still say it. Losing weight. How do you show progression? Scale. your clothes. Easy, right? You do one thing and then you see an outcome, and guess what? If it doesn't work, you got to change something. All right? Whether it's bringing up or bringing down, calories in, calories out, something needs to change if it's not working. There you go. But you need to be able to measure the progress. Number 2, build muscle. Okay, I'm going to build muscle. How are you going to measure it? You're going to start measuring your biceps? Well, that could be, you can't really justify if that's all muscle or if there's fat attributed with that as well. So you're going to do some type of body composition test. Whether you're doing some type of handheld, whatever, or the body comp that you stand on, or maybe you're going to do a DEXA scan, whatever you're going to do it consistently at the same time, with the same amount of food, with the same amount of hydration, not after exercise, but you're going to keep something consistent and you're going to show progress. And if you don't, what are you going to do? You're going to change something. Now, I want to get stronger. This is something that I hear people say all of the time. How are you going to show progress? Are you going to do, you're going to get stronger, you're going to do 35 squats? Where is the progress? Where is the strength progress? I can do 35 squats before, but now it's a little bit easier. Have I gotten stronger? Hard to know. Hard to know if you're just waking up new tissue. So that's why using strength training, no one's asking you to lift the world or lift your body weight or whatever happens to be. Showing progress is being able to do 5 squats at 25 pounds 1 week, and then being able to do another set of 5 squats the next week at 30 pounds. That's progress. Let's see, build endurance. How are you going to measure it? Well, one day you're going to go out, run a mile, or swim 100 meters. Then you're going to try to swim 150 meters. And then you're going to try to swim 200 meters. That's how you're going to build endurance. I want to run faster. Okay, you're going to run faster. How are you going to measure it? You're going to measure it by going out and running a mile, not timing it? No, you're going to time it. You're going to see, all right, I can run a mile this fast right now, and next week I'm going to see if I can beat it. Progress. I'm going to complete a half marathon. Okay? You either could not complete it before, and now you're going to complete it. It's a yes or no. Did you make it or not? Does that show progress? Yes. Here's the moral of the story. If you have these goals, these wild and beautiful goals, whether they have to do with injuries, whether they have to do with growing in just your fitness, if you can't measure the progress, you're never going to be able to show or improve or be proud of the work that you're putting in. That's how CrossFit got so big, right? If you guys follow CrossFit at all, they do an open every year. And the open used to lead us into regionals, which used to lead us into the CrossFit games. I say us as in I'm a CrossFit athlete, I'm not. I do follow some CrossFit athletes. I do find it very interesting. And I'm very motivated by some of the athletes there. But so one of their big claims to fame is that they're able to show progress because they run the same workout. And if you are able to complete it at a more reps, higher weight, faster, or so on and so forth, that you are able to see progress. So what they do in these open workouts is that they tend to repeat them from years before. So they just had one launched last Thursday, which was 19.2 for this year, but it was a repeat, I think, from 16.2 or something like that. So in 2016, they did the exact same workout, and people compared themselves to when they were doing it then. And if they weren't doing it then, they don't have necessarily a comparison, but when they do it again in the future, they'll be able to compare it. So there's all kinds of exercise programs out there that do have an opportunity to show progress. Make sure you understand what that progress is trying to show you. Now, obviously, the claim to CrossFit is to become the fittest person in the world. So their overall fitness, they're not saying that necessarily it's strength or endurance, it's a combination of them both. But so you understand them, then you can see your progress, okay? Now, when you're trying to be specific, lots of times I hear a lot of aesthetic goals, but what are you using to measure it besides the scale? If you're trying to put on muscle, you need to go figure out how much muscle you have on you. If you don't know how much muscle you have on you, how do you know if you're growing it? How do you know that you're getting stronger if you're not measuring it by doing a specific exercise? If you want strong legs, squat. Let's see how much they can push. If you want a strong upper body, let's do a push-up. It can be as easy as that, as long as you show progress, you're getting stronger. It is as easy as that. Now, getting there might be an interesting thing. That's why people have jobs programming, some for athletes that are competitors, some for just generalized public that are looking to become stronger. One's not better than the other. They look at the goal. My goal is very specific. I want to snatch 70 kilos. But guess what? In the next 20 weeks, anything can happen. Anything. I could, 1, become injured. 2, I could become pregnant. 3, those are the only things that could happen. I could fall out of love with weightlifting. Never gonna happen. But you are just looking to get completely stronger. So if you have no numbers to jump onto, that's the funnest thing about being a new athlete. It means that you have new numbers, that you're always gonna show progression. So let me clean this all up for you guys. If everybody, I'm coming back to my tangent. Yes, good job. I love it when I can do this. If you have a circle, I don't know if it is your PT, I don't know if it's your doctor, I don't know if it's a combination of both of those people, I don't know if it's your husband, I don't know if it's your wife, I don't know if it's your friends, I don't know if it's your coach, I don't know if it's your trainer, I don't know who it is, but if everybody keeps telling you that this is broken, that's broken, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, guess what? You're not going to be able to do anything that you don't believe yourself that can do. But if you think that you can change your mentality and you can not become a patient anymore, you can. And I want to show you, and I want you to know how. Whatever it is that your injury is that you're battling, use and complete exercises that don't affect it. Do other exercises around the area that allow you to show progression so you can see that you're building strength in other areas. Number 1, it's going to change your mentality, okay? And it could potentially help you with that psychological component to injuries, okay? Number 2, it could boost some endorphins, get some energy, and help you in your environmental stressors. So having confidence, getting to some endorphins release, feeling good about yourself in a way could potentially bring down some stress, okay? You can deal with things in a different way. That can also help you with that stuff, and then with your lifestyle. It's really tough when injuries take you out of sleep, okay? Sleep's like the number 1 that I really always think about because how much it really affects performance and recovery mostly. So if you're having a trouble with that, I would do anything to be able to sleep. Turn off the TV an hour to 2 hours before sleep. No screen time at all, okay? Do some light stretching. Do some light yoga. Meditate. There's so many cool apps now. I know I told you no screen time, but you can play them without the screen on. It can have some white noise and some really calming tones. Anything that can help you bring sleep back into a normal pattern is definitely going to help improve any injury. And then, like I said, don't look at the injury. Look around it. Look at what you can do. If you can open a gym door and walk through it, you can be an athlete. If you can open your garage door and walk through it, you can be an athlete. The only thing stopping you is up here telling you that you can't, and maybe the people that you're surrounding yourself with. So I want you to know that there's people out there that believe in working around injuries. There are people out there that will help you not feel like you are broken, because you might not be completely broken. You can still do activities. You can still treat your body with respect, and you can still show some progression. And that's what it is really all about. So ladies and gentlemen, are you a patient or are you an athlete? And just because you don't play soccer for USA or you don't golf on the LPGA or the PGA tours doesn't mean that you're not an athlete. If you have a gym membership, if you have an attitude that wants to bring some regular fitness into your life, you are an athlete, and you are allowed to call yourself one, act like one, and treat yourself like one. Because all in all, we're just trying to become. I'm Samantha B, and you are better for the rest. I was going to say becoming.
And I cut you off. Sorry about that, Samantha B. Okay. Well, there you go. Where'd I go? There we go. Mama G, where are you? I'm missing an action. Son of a. All right, folks, let me see if I can actually figure out if you can see me. Because I can't see me. Nope. I can hear Mary say, can't see you. Stop video, FaceTime camera. Wow. Got unplugged. There she is. Okay. Excellent call, as usual, Samantha B. There, I need to see what's going on here. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the clarification on exercise. I think it's extremely relevant, and all of you needed to hear that, even though we said it 1,000 times before. Bottom line, if you're confused in any way, stretch, or form in regards to the, it's going to be one of those days, in regards to the nutrition and or fitness component of the Mama G lifestyle, ask. Okay, now I'm plugged in, but you can't see me. This is outrageous. Oh, I swear. Start video. HDV Redco. Okay, it's one of those days. What can I say? Perfect. Perspective. So every single day, one of my clients, whether you're in the Mama G lifestyle or whether you're a private client or whatever your situation is, every single day, somebody has some kind of excuse. Now, I understand that, circumstances happen in life and there are reasons for excuses. The dog ate my homework, I will tell my professor tomorrow night. That's why I'm not turning my paper in. Not true. Mama G will get the paper done. Even though I wish the due date had not have changed from Sunday till Tuesday, because the paper would have been done last night. But because they changed the date of the paper, 100% Mama G procrastinating, and the paper is not done. But it will be by tomorrow night. Hence, don't bother me until then. Just joking. I can actually multitask. But here's what you have to think about. I have been exposed to lots of different people who have had a lot of suffering. Before Evan got sick, I will tell you, I used to live in a pretty small little bubble. My beautiful little family, 4 kids, my dogs, my house, my 2 cars, everything was little nice in my little bubble. I wouldn't read the obituary section. I really limited watching local news. I just liked my little perfect little bubble. Even though it wasn't so perfect, it was pretty damn good. Kind of normal. And then life blew up and I was exposed to all kinds of tragedies. And once you kind of are in one area of disease or bone marrow transplant, and you learn of all these other diseases, and then not only with the children, but with adults, and how it proliferates in family, if they're genetic diseases, and all of these things. I have more information than I wish on any of you. But the fact is, it's part of my life experience. And I have a very dear friend who has a neurological disease. And I always think, I wonder why God put us together in the first place. Completely different diseases, but I have a very good perspective. And he's in a position where not a lot of people, he's in a position of respect. So a lot of people treat him kind of on a pedestal. And don't treat him like a friend. And me, I'm always, doing this and doing that, and I can care less that you have, that you're in a wheelchair or blah, 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 can't do this or that, or your hands are deformed or all of these things. But he had a circumstance out of the blue, kind of twofold. One, kind of had his head in the sand regarding his disease. And 2, wasn't doing everything he really could to help himself avoid the neurological progression of the disease. Okay? I mean, it's just human nature, right? It's like, well, I don't have time and I'm busy and, I don't want to do this or that or these things that can help me in the long run. And then, well, I'm going to stick my head in the sand and not really think about it, because then maybe it won't happen. Well, unfortunately, everything went haywire because of those things. And he now sits in an ICU rehab facility with a trach. And now he's having to learn how to um, exist with the trach. They're trying to get him OT and PT and get him off the trach. And I mean, just how to eat, how to speak. Your whole life ramifications change, right? But that's it. That's the cards he'd been dealt. Now, again, remember I told you that he had some participating factors in here. And that's what you have to remember about. You have to be able to control what you can control. He can't control the fact that he has this neurological disease, but he could have treated how he could have changed the way he treated his body. Maybe ate a little better, maybe exercised more, done some things that would have slowed down the progression of the disease or made him stronger so that when the disease did progress, he was able to handle it better in terms of his structure. But we're after that point, and now we figure out how that works from this point forward. Point being for you is you have got to open your eyes and understand, number one, that you are not the only one out there who has shit in their life, okay? You have to understand that. I couldn't be more clear with you that you are not alone. Now, some of you are going to say to me, Mama G, you were talking to me. No, I'm talking to every single one of you on this call and hopefully everybody else who's supposed to be listening to the calls every single week. Because every single one of you have been in this situation, whether you sit in it now, taking your little pity party, or whether it will happen to you tomorrow or yet next year or 10 years from now, I don't care. The point is that you have stuff in your life and you have no idea for the people across the street what's happening behind their door. You see shiny, pretty, beautiful on social media and the internet and everything looks nice and their baby's sleeping through the night and she has no problem with her weight and they have no injuries and their kids are perfect and blah, 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 blah. They have tons of money. You don't know. So stop comparing your life to their life, number one. All right. Don't tell me that you're the one who everybody relies upon. Don't tell me that your kid has issues. Don't tell me that your spouse is cheating on you or there was a death in the family or you're getting divorced or your finances. I mean, there's a million things that can cause you to crash and burn. But it still goes back to you understanding this is your life and you are the only one who can dictate where that life will go. Mary, would you bring me I'm telling Mary, she's in the other room. I need my charger. Would you bring my computer back, please? You're the only one who can make a choice as to where that path is going to go. Controlling what you can control. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the Mama G lifestyle. All right. Bottom line is we give you education. We give you tools. We give you tutoring. We give you everything you need to succeed. And guess what? It's not like you're paying for, a $50,000 master's program. It's not like you're, paying hundreds of dollars each week or blah, 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 for a very, very, very low cost. You guys are getting a ton of information. Problem is, you are not choosing to utilize everything that's at your avail. So when we talk about the education, weekly video calls, it is Samantha B and Mama G's expectation that you will watch the video call every single week, whether you're on live with us, thank you for joining us, or whether you listen to it in the next day or two following once I put it up on the YouTube for you to watch at your listening pleasure. We told you before, listen in the car, listen while you're cooking, listen while you're cleaning, listen while you're doing your cardiovascular exercise. Could care less when you listen, But that information, every single word we speak, number one, takes effort. Number two, we're passionate about. Number three, can change your focus for that week and give you something to do. Why do you think homilies and sermons and all of those work for those of us who are faithful? Because that's your week's motivation. Let's go, right? And sometimes the week speaks to you. It's, oh my gosh, she's talking to me. And some weeks you're like, well, okay, yeah, maybe I can find one little snippet, one little nugget, as some of you say. But the point being is, you have got to utilize what we give to you. So education, step one, listening to the weekly video calls. I'm going to say to you this right now. I would go back to 1 year ago. We're coming on our year anniversary of our weekly video calls and start listening again. It's all relevant. You may find little snippets within each one of those things that's useful. And guess what? We're kind of fun. We're kind of entertaining. It's not boring. And it gives you something to do when you don't have other stuff going on. Secondly, Mama G and Samantha B, especially when you're working the experiment in the Lifestyle Plus and the slim down version of the experiment, whatever you happen to be working, you have Mama G and Samantha B available for one-on-one tutoring via our WhatsApp chat. You want to know how many people take advantage of it? Tiny little group of people. Yeah. I don't know why. I have people that say to Samantha B and Mama G, oh, you're so busy. You don't have time for me. Well, pretty much. My phone is at my disposal 12 to 15 hours a day. And if you message me during that period of time where I'm not peeing or in the shower or with a client or studying or something, I'm going to answer you back. And so is Samantha B when she's not with her clients. And so take advantage of it, because there is no stupid question. Obviously, you're asking the question because you don't understand something, you're confused about something, or you need some advice, support, motivation, whatever it is. All right? Next, we give you tons of tools, and I've got to go get my battery because Mary didn't hear me. I'll give her one more chance. 5% battery. Mary, if you're capable of bringing me in my computer bag, which is right by your fireplace, bring it to me, please. We give you all kinds of tools. Number one, you start off with the website. So today's a perfect example. I had a client, and it wasn't surprising to me because I've had clients do this before, say to me, I'm looking at your recipe and it doesn't say serving size, or it doesn't say this, or it doesn't say that. I'm like, oh, because you're looking at an old recipe. Throw it away. Where'd you get it from? Oh, I got it off of the web. I got it off of Facebook. Yeah, you got it off of the public Facebook group, which, by the way, is public, which means any recipes that are on there are recipes that are not built for you as part of Mama G's lifestyle. And so since we developed our website, all of our official recipes, not the non-official ones, live on the Mama G Lifestyle website, www.mamagslifestyle.com, under recipes. Those are official. And every once in a while, there's something that's wrong or something we need to correct. And Mindy, great assistant to Samantha B and Mama G, gets on there and makes that happen. But you got to be using the right things. The fitness macros, for those of you working in the experiment, are on the website for your viewing pleasure. The Life Log, which Samantha B works very, very hard at every single day, and majority of you are not taking advantage of it. Those of you who are past the experiment, looking for excitement in your life and your fitness program, you need to get on to the Life Log on Instagram. It's not a big deal. What else do I want to say? There's just so many things. And the Facebook groups. The Facebook groups are your support for your questions, your motivation. It's where you show your successes. It's where you be vulnerable. All of those aspects are really critical to you being successful, living the Mama G lifestyle, regardless of where you are in the process. All right? Hold tight. Do, 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 do. La, 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 la. Of course, my bag's right here because I actually did plan accordingly. Okay, here he is. Mama G's back. So, let me find myself a little plug. So all those tools, the Facebook page, the website, all of those things are there for you. So guess what? You've got to start taking advantage of those things and utilizing them. So let me just give you a scenario that I think was relevant. I am writing a paper on vitamin K2 and it affects on the treatment and prevention of osteoporosis. And you're like, well, what the heck is vitamin K2? Well, you know, if you have osteoporosis, and we have clients with osteoporosis, Mama G will be sharing that information with you at some point in time. But don't you love wires? They're just so annoying on so many levels. I got headphones and computer cords, and everybody always gets tied together. Somebody's going to make bajillion dollars looking at one thing that charges everything instead of one thing for each thing. Okay, sorry about that, folks. So osteoporosis, we got a few choices. Number one, you can make a decision from the time you have your child to understand that we have from birth to age of 20 to produce as much bone as possible. Step one. You know how little conversation there is about how to go about building bone mass in your children, mostly when they're in your house, because most of them are there till at least 18. You actually have the ability to make sure that your children build a great amount of bone mass, which will help reduce their risk of osteoporosis as they age. Especially if you might have osteoporosis in your family, which kind of makes a little, pay attention. But for everybody, lay down as much bone mass as we can between the ages of 0 and 20, and we are going to be that much better off for ever having a risk of osteoporosis. By the way, it's like the number 3 killer. Not osteoporosis per se, but the ramifications of it, which are usually fractures to the hip and spine, which then cause demise, right? Cause people to be bedridden, and then they get pneumonia and blah, 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 blah. My mom was one of those people. Thankfully, it didn't happen until she was 93 years of age, but her second hip fracture was ultimately her demise, okay? So point being is we have information, we know how we can prevent it. This is what we need to do between the ages of 0 and 20. We need to make sure that we have adequate calcium, adequate vitamin D, that we have adequate vitamin K in our diets, and in particularly looking at vitamin K2. So you have no idea what that means, but the expert does, right? So now it's about me and everybody else kind of spreading that information to pediatricians and parents and young adults on how they can help themselves. We go into this 20 to 40-year-old period of time where we are stagnant with our bone. And so I always tell our young people in the group, all of you clients of ours who sit in that 20 to 40-year-old range, this is kind of that period of time where I get it. You're super busy, you got kids and families and spouses and trying to figure out your life and blah, 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 blah. The body is very forgiving, but after about 40, when not only should your life be somewhat settled, but your kids are a little bit older and hopefully relationships are better, those kind of things, after about 40, it's when you got to get serious, right? So during that 20 to 40, I hope that you're establishing good eating habits. I'm hoping that you're establishing good exercise habits. I'm hoping people are being active. I'm hoping you're cooking and enjoying one another, and all those things that need to happen at every segment of your life. And then come 40, you got to go, okay, we got to understand once menopause hits, and it's sometime after 40, and it's usually by 50, and all of these parameters, that's when we start to lose bone mass pretty significantly, especially in women. And after 70, it's just a continued bone loss from there. And that's where we run into the problems. And this is where not only is it a societal burden in terms of cost involved in caring for people who have osteoporosis, but in terms of your personal life, what that looks like, limiting mobility, pain, suffering, depression. There's so many things that go along with it. So my point is, you are the only one that can advocate for yourself. So you've got to start there with taking care of yourself. Yes, a lot of us have limitations, might have financial limitations, might have physical limitations, but it's not an all or none. We can do the best we can under our circumstances. And Samantha B talked to all of that stuff in terms of, having limitations depending on where you might have injuries or chronic illnesses or things that are happening in your body as we age, in terms of our spine and how the spine starts to break down. But there are things we can do to slow it down. So you've got to start to control some of these things, all right? You've got to understand that when the naturopath tells you that, there's 100 things you're allergic to, you have to go, maybe I need to go somewhere else. You need to realize that when you think you have an intolerance because, you ate something or another and it feels this way, and you read on the internet that maybe you're lactose intolerance or gluten intolerance or something like that. Or, somebody said to you, well, I heard that's bad. You shouldn't be eating carbohydrates, or you shouldn't be doing this or that or the other. And then you're searching the internet. You are the only one who knows you. I can't rewrite it anymore. So Mama G has had back issues for most of her adult life, and definitely a repercussion to overuse, overtraining, heavy weights back in the day. Mama G has had all kinds of treatments, acupuncture, epidurals, what's it called when they, ablations. And Mama G for a long time has done beautifully in terms of chronic pain in my low back. But then other things occur. So now Mama G is dealing with cervical neck cervical pain. So, Mama G has been dealing with it, little physical therapy. Samantha B and I have been working to really strengthen the lower back, mid back, the thoracic region, and we've done beautiful work. I mean, it's shocking how much stronger I am and how I'm able to do things overhead. But between that and physical therapy and trying to do some more proactive things with mobility, I have not been able to resolve that neck pain. So I made a decision to see an orthopedic surgeon who specialized in injections. And I had my first injection in my C4 or 5 on Thursday. And I will tell you this, while I'm not cured, I have range of motion in my neck that I haven't had in maybe my whole adult life. So step one, it was a huge win. Now I'm going to go back in and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about maybe we inject somewhere else. Again, it's not that we're injecting for the fun of it. We know in my spine, based on MRI, based on a multitude of things we've already tried, that this was the next step. And so what is the next step for you? Step one, getting a handle on your food. Step two, getting a handle on consistent exercise. Step three, putting it all together so that you're not consistently falling off the wagon, which seems to be a trend. And I personally don't understand it. And Samantha B has a very difficult time understanding it because it's so much a part of our everyday life. And so that is why the Mama G lifestyle was developed, and all the tools that we provide for you, and the education that we have at your disposal, and the support as well. It was devised to help you be successful in your quest to take care of you, so that not only can you be better for the rest of your life, but so that you can live a long, healthy, independent life. So it starts with you, ladies and gentlemen. Our goal within the Mama G lifestyle is for it to help you find your happy place with your food and nutrition and with your calculated exercise. The question is, how do we continue to keep you motivated to do so? You know, I always said that I definitely consider myself successful when I have a client who, maybe they go through the experiment, or maybe I'm working with them privately on their own situation with nutrition and such, and they've got an exercise program with Samantha B, or they're doing whatever, but they've got a regular exercise program going, and they reach their goals. Right? So goals consistently change. You may come to us initially for weight loss. Samantha B hates weight loss. But with that, you found you sleep better, that you have better body composition, that you're stronger, that you're able to do things you never thought you could do before, regardless of what your age is, blah, 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 blah. But, the next goal becomes this, that, and the other thing, right? Like Felicia, she's going to run a half marathon. I don't know, whatever your goal is, the point being is that you continue to strive for the best you. And I'm going to tell you this. Today I was with somebody who lives in a household with 5 people, 3 adult children, a husband and a wife, and they do not ever cook a meal together and sit down and eat together. The husband orders his own food from some company that comes to him delivered. I don't know how often. I can't even imagine what it costs. And sometimes he'll get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Sometimes he'll get snacks included. Sometimes he wants more of a high carb maybe, or a high protein. Never high carb, I guarantee you. Or a this or that. So he's got things in his head, a goal in his head in terms of the food he chooses to buy from this particular company. And then the wife, she usually doesn't eat. And if she does eat, it's just, whatever's convenient and what might be in the refrigerator. And if she's not shopping for the food, certainly whatever's in the refrigerator is probably not necessarily the best choice. And then her kids are doing their own things. And you know what? That is exactly why the Mama G lifestyle exists. Because Samantha B and Mama G believe that there has to be calculated nutrition and calculated exercise in your life so that you can, number 1, live the lifestyle. Number 2, role model that behavior to you and your people. And number 3, experience a more fulfilling life. I mean, Sunday night dinners is a perfect example of it. All right. Last night we happened to have one of our friends who just got married and came for dinner, and she had been out of the country. So we made her a burger bar, and, we had food for everybody, because at this point we understand the desires of our people. They could have picked a lean burger, a beef burger. They could have picked a turkey burger. Mama G made some fabulous veggie burgers. But the point was, we had beautiful food available to them. Not only did Mary make some delicious little peanut butter cookies. I did have one there, but we also had Girl Scout cookies that we had purchased a couple weeks ago, stuck them in the freezer, pull them out on Sunday nights, because we want to support the Girl Scouts. I told you already, I'm never eating another Girl Scout cookie the rest of my life. And you could go listen to last week's call to understand why. But the point being is, the conversations, the camaraderie, the building of memories with that group of people is really special. And it's not going to happen in a restaurant. It's not going to happen in a bar. It's going to happen in a home, in a kitchen, where people are around, everybody's in the kitchen, right? You want them out of the kitchen, but they're all in the kitchen and you're cooking and you're cleaning and doing your thing. And then you all sit down together and you enjoy a meal that is not only nutritious, but is delicious. And you make plans for exciting life activities together. And that is your opportunity, folks, to really build relationships and, you know what, live a long, healthy, independent life. Samantha B, let's get you back on here. Start your video. Let's unmute you. Samantha. Oh, I asked her. There she is. Oh, can't hear you. Let's unmute you. Turn your volume up. Last chance. Nope, I'll say it for her. You know what Samantha B says? You are better for the rest. And Mama G always says, not about what you lose, folks. All about what you gain. Have a beautiful evening.